Welcome back to the Breakthrough. I'm Lamaya Polina, and again, like any other week, baby, we need to talk. So last week we had an amazing show with a couple of guests. We had Tony, we had Pam Chapman, and we had Chantel coming to talk about activating your purpose. Now, with your purpose and with activating it, you do need self-esteem. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-esteem today, how you get it, if you've lost it, and the journey that, maintaining it and obtaining it. So I have Armani Boxley. You guys may know her as the mascot, the spirit of Prairie View. She's also a graduating senior. It's time to roll up out of here.
Time to go.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Amani?
I'm doing good. Now, Armani reached out to me a couple weeks ago and wanted to really tell her story about losing your self-esteem, losing yourself, and finding it again. Now, you are big on campus. Yeah. You were well known on campus. You always had this big personality, like you can't miss Armani. Yeah. And you kind of lost yourself in the midst of your journey in college. So let's talk about it. What happened, girl?
Okay. So, I got into this relationship. This guy was like everything and more in the beginning. Like, he was just somebody I thought that I was going to see myself with from like 10 years from now, having a baby, living in our career. And that went downhill. And in the midst of that, I lost myself. Yeah. And it was the type of loss that I was in a dark place, dark hole. And no one really could understand where I was coming from besides my friends. And my friends, which is Skylar Dabney, my girl over there, and Tamara Neal, who's not here, they were always there to support me and to give me advice on what I should do. But we have those friends where we listen to them, but at the end of the day, we're grown. We're going to do what we want to do. So, of course, I did the back and forth. And throughout that back and forth is where I lost myself. Because I was so busy trying to please somebody versus trying to please myself. Right. And that's where I messed up at. And that sucks. So
when did you realize that you had lost yourself? What were the things that you were doing?
I started doing things as far as I felt myself not being myself. And you know me, I have a big personality. I like to have fun. I like to go out and enjoy myself. I started minimizing those things. Right. And I was brainwashed into thinking I was minimizing those things for myself when I really wasn't.
Was he telling you to?
He wasn't necessarily telling me. He was necessarily more or less saying, this is what I think you should do because this is going to help you get on a better path. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it is some things that I do need to change, but not just closing everybody out around me. Right. I even closed out some family members, and that's not me. I'm not that type of person. So when I started noticing the change and me losing people that I had around me that was close to me, I was like, okay, I'm not Armani at this point. Right. And it's a feeling that's unexplainable because you think you got everything in the bag and you think you're okay when necessarily you're really hurting deep down inside, but you don't know where to start or who to talk to so that you can open up and express because you're so afraid of people judging you, people being judgmental. Right. And that was another issue with me. I was more of a people pleaser and worried about what people will say versus opening up to somebody. And I lost myself because I didn't have nobody to open up to.
Right. Did you ever tell, the guy that you were with, look, I'm feeling like I'm losing myself in this relationship?
No. And I didn't because I wanted to be in a relationship with him so bad because I'm not going to say he's a bad person because he's not. He has the qualities to be a person or a boyfriend or future husband to someone, like the best one that you could ever think of. But I was so busy trying to have that now instead of thinking of me and my self-care for the long run, and that's when I lost everything. And I didn't open up and say nothing to him. I just continued to let the cycle go over and over and over. And finally, I got to the point where I was like, I'm not dealing with that cycle anymore.
Describe your darkest moment in the relationship.
Ooh, My darkest moment in the relationship, I would have to say, was around August of 2018. I lost my cousin to domestic violence. Her stepdad killed her and shot her mom 12 times. Her mom survived. And I needed somebody at that time. I had my friends and family, but at that time, I wanted him, and I needed him.
That intimate.
Yeah, that intimate, like, grieving.
Right.
Because I was really grieving. And I didn't open up and tell no one about it, because when I lost my cousin, that was like a best friend, somebody that I talked to all the time. So it was really hard. And at that time, he wasn't being the boyfriend I needed him to be at that moment, because this is really hard for my family and I right now. We're still fighting the case. So when he couldn't be there for me, that's when I knew this isn't for me. This relationship isn't for me. And I knew I needed to take some steps back, which I should have done early in the relationship, because we were in a relationship for almost 2 years, in order to get myself back to where I needed to be. Because at that point, I didn't have any self-care or any self-motivation for myself. And that's something that I didn't grow up on. Like, my family taught us self-care, self-motivation. So for me to go to this dark place, it was all different for me.
Yeah. I think in the transition of college, too, and kind of becoming our own woman, we want something that we kind of idolize, and we see the potential in what our lives could be. So when we have a piece of it, and only a piece of it, we're okay with just having that little notch and not the whole picture. And I feel that a lot of women go through that. We are okay with having a piece of a person or a piece of ourselves just to say we got it. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay, because you got back to yourself. So let's talk about you getting back to the person that you were and the woman that you're destined to be.
The way I came back to being Monty, the goofy, crazy Monty, funny Monty, I started praying. I started praying. This is the most I've ever prayed. And I know you're not supposed to go to God when you only need something, but I started praying for self-peace, like strength, to get past this, to move past this, and to cope with the grieving that I was going through. I still think about my cousin every day and still talk to her obituary in my room every day. And I just started really praying, and I started seeing the cycle and the people God started putting in my life. He brought me my two best friends, Skylar Dabney and Tamara Neal. And, you know, they say that, you know, that the Holy Spirit is in the presence of people who praise God. And my friends and I, we always pray. We always play our gospel music. We have our Bible study with each other. We read scriptures and we give each other advice. And I started noticing the things and the turnaround God started doing in my life. And I knew that my prayers were being answered. So I knew that prayer still works. I don't know if y'all ever heard that song, but I started praying and giving all my problems to God. And I started becoming more faithful to him to really show that, okay, I can get past this. I can move on past this. And when I started doing that, it was a switch. It might have been a month or two, but it was a switch. I didn't feel sad anymore. I didn't feel as drained. I wasn't losing as much weight as I was. I went from 150 to 120. I started gaining my weight back. I started eating more. I started, you know, being more happy and not looking so down. And my family could even see the change. And the people around me started saying, Monty, you're so happy, you're glowing, and you're always smiling. And I felt that negative spirit coming off of me because I was being so negative. And I knew that was the devil, and it was draining me. And that relationship was draining me, and I could feel my soul draining. And now I'm just to the point to where I'm happy all the time. I'll pray, I'll be walking and praying. And that's just something that I think is big on.
That's big, for real, because when you're in that dark space and you feel that God kind of just forgot about me, like, where is God right now? I'm going through everything. It's hard to pray. I've been in a situation where it's like I can't even pray sitting in my bed because I'm just so, like, down and low. And the fact that you can walk and pray, that is a big change in you. That's really big.
Yeah, and I just started going back to enjoying myself and being the person that I am, which is a lively, big personality, not afraid to speak to anyone. That's me. And when I was in that relationship, I started, you know, putting myself in the hole for someone who clearly didn't care about what I had going on or my well-being. So my advice to people out there who needs like some self-care tips, just pray. Pray. I don't know if you're religious or not, but pray, and I promise you God will make a way. It might not be when you want it, but He's gonna be right on time.
Yeah. What's a lesson that you've learned from 2 to 3 years ago until now?
Never let no one steal your light, your joy. You don't let anybody dim your light. Don't dim your light for anybody else. Do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy, because if you don't, you'll lose yourself. And that's something I pray nobody has to go through that, losing yourself and losing who you were, because it's not a good feeling. It's draining. You literally wake up like, oh my God, I got to deal with this, I got to deal with that. Versus you could wake up to, it's a better day, it's a new day, new opportunities, new life, and it's a blessing. It was a lesson, but it was also a blessing in disguise, because it made me figure out who I needed to be, and it helped me grow as a woman.
Who are you? If you had to tell the world a couple things about who Armani is, what would it be?
Armani Denise Boxley.
Here she goes.
I am an outgoing, lively person. I'm free-spirited. Like, I know I'm free-spirited because I'm not judgmental at all or anything.
Right.
Like, I'll allow people to be themselves around me. So I'm just the type of person who likes to have fun and just be Armani, be yourself, and accept people for who they are and what they are.
Right. Just a butterfly. She's a butterfly, y'all, seriously. But we got to go to a quick break, and I'm going to bring on another guest who we're going to also talk about self-esteem, and she might just interview me. We got a little surprise for y'all, so stay tuned with The Breakthrough. That was good, girl.
Girl, y'all was gonna make me.
At Prairie View A&M University, we've been igniting passion in students for more than 140 years. It's about inspiration. It's about global influence. It's about self-expression and individuality. It's about trailblazing a path of excellence. It's about engaging in the greater community. Above all, it's about helping you realize your dreams. Ignite your passion. Experience Prairie View A&M University.
Traditions are not made overnight. They are created through a legacy of excellence and a commitment to something much greater. For more than 135 years, Prairie View A&M University has provided students with a strong academic foundation, a unique college experience, and the opportunity to make their mark on the world. This is a place where friendships are formed, discoveries are made, and dreams are realized. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
Prairie View A&M University is about the students. Students don't just come here for the education. They come for the faculty, for the creativity, the camaraderie, an excellent standard of living, and the school spirit. They come here to gain something profound and to give something back. Students come for the tradition of excellence. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
At Prairie View A&M University, we've been igniting passion in students for more than 140 years. It's about inspiration. It's about global influence. It's about self-expression and individuality. It's about trailblazing a path of excellence. It's about engaging in the greater community. Above all, it's about helping you realize your dreams. Ignite your passion. Experience Prairie View A&M University.
Traditions are not made overnight. They are created through a legacy of excellence and a commitment to something much greater. For more than 135 years, Prairie View A&M University has provided students with a strong academic foundation, a unique college experience, and the opportunity to make their mark on the world. This is a place where friendships are formed, discoveries are made, and dreams are realized. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
Prairie View A&M University is about the students. Students don't just come here for the education. They come for the faculty, for the creativity, the camaraderie, an excellent standard of living, and the school spirit. They come here to gain something profound and to give something back. Students come for the tradition of excellence. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
And welcome back, you guys. This is The Breakthrough. I am Lamaya Pralina, and I didn't tell you, but this is my last show of the season, of the first season of The Breakthrough. And so I promised Tony Hall that she could interview me at my last year here at Prairie View. Jeez Louise, it's been a while. So, Tony, I want to do one thing before we start.
Yeah, girl.
You get to sit in this chair. I'm going to sit in the interviewee. Because I don't want to sit here no more. So, you can just, you're going to take this camera. Okay?
Let's do this.
You silly
We're
girl.
swapping real quick.
We're swapping. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't prepare anything, so Tony,
No.
go ahead and dig in.
Well, first
Let's
off,
see.
guys, once again, my name is Tony Hall, and I have been wanting to. Let me tell you a little bit about Lamaya, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Lamaya Harvel Parlina, the one and only. Let me tell you, this is a role model of mine. I legit look up to her, like. Well, I look down to her because I'm taller than her, but I look up to her so much. This is my sister. Like, I'll kill someone over this one. This is my baby. She has literally inspired me in so many ways. Like, I know you guys see her, you know, she's this really in-depth, very passionate person, but little do you guys know the actual backstory behind who she is. And today I really, really want to get into who Lamaya Pralina is.
The true me.
The true her. So I really want to kick it off with, you're from Minnesota.
I am. Twin Cities, St. Paul, born and raised.
You came all the way down to this country town
Yeah.
of Prairie View, Texas.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
left your family.
It's crazy.
You left all your situations, all your past back at home. My question to you is, what made you leave Minnesota?
Okay, so there was this, let me go to junior year of high school. So junior year of high school, my dad's side of the family and I went on a vacation to the south. We went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But Myrtle Beach had the Waffle House, and I fell in love with the Waffle House really quickly. And they had a cute boy that was working at the Waffle House too. I was like, ooh, the South got boys. So I was like, okay, I like the South. And I was dating this guy, and I'm like, yo, look, we're going to move to South Carolina. We're moving to the South when we graduate. And he was like, all right. So that same year, I think I went on a college tour, HBCU college tour. And I went to Prairie View, Texas Southern University, Wiley College, Texas College, and there was another one I can't remember, but we went to all of those. And I don't really recall me really being like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, I like the South. It was just like, okay, cool. I went out here. It's nice. You know, the campuses are really cool. And I was in this AVID program. It's Advanced Via Individual Determination class, and it's a college preparation course that they give you from the 7th grade until your 12th grade year in high school. So I was in it for about give or take like that amount of years.
Yeah.
And so, they made us apply to college as an actual grade. And I was like, okay, well, I went to these colleges. I'm going to apply to, Prairie View, Texas. Oh, Langston University.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go to Langston. I'm like, I want to go to Langston. It's cool, It was in Oklahoma. I really, out of nowhere, just like, I want to go. And I got my mom was like, you're not going to Texas or Oklahoma. I got accepted to Prairie View. And she was like, you're not going. My mom was like, you're not going. You're not going. I can't get to you. If something happens to you, how am I going to get to you? That's across the country. Who's going to be there? You have no family out there. I'm like, okay, I ain't going in. And around this time, I had a boyfriend. He was in the streets. I was like kind of running the streets. Wasn't in a gang, but, was drinking, smoking, all of that stuff with my friends. High school stuff, but was like in the streets because I'm from like the urban inner city. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go to St. Cloud. That's where everybody else goes, and that's in Minnesota. So I was set to go to St. Cloud. And my mom she's so crazy. I'm still mad at her for this. She told one of my cousins that I look up to, Lamaya's not going, she got accepted to the South, but she's not going, she's going to stay here with her boyfriend. I said, I'm not staying here for the boy. You told me I couldn't go. So my cousin went into my room like 3 o'clock in the morning. She sat on my bed. She was crying. I'm like, what are you crying for? And she was like, you can't stay here. You cannot stay in Minnesota and expect to be somebody. She said, look at everybody who stayed here that's in your immediate family, and look at where we're at. And at this time, my cousin, I think she was pregnant, 25 years old, and she was living with us. She had lost her house. And around this time, we had lost our house like years prior to, and, you know, stayed with family, and we were just getting on our feet. And so she was just like, look at how we're living, Lamaya. You can't stay. You can't stay. You can't possibly think you can come back here and be great. You go to St. Cloud, you're going to come home, you're never going to go back. You're never going to go back to school. So I was crying. I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
That day, that morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, I signed up for orientation to Prairie View. And
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock in the morning, it was like around December, I believe. And I knew I said, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to try it just because. So Takita Suggs, that's my cousin. That's the one that told me to go, and I'll never forget it. And I tell her all the time, like, bro, thank you, because, like, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
yeah, I came out here. I went to orientation in June 21st. Came out here in August. Never looked back.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I won't say I didn't look back, because there was times where I'm like, I gotta go back home because
Yeah. Of course.
so much stuff was happening with my
course.
family, and it's like, I gotta go back.
Of course.
And I never went back.
Wow. Lamaya, I don't think you realize the blessing that's over your life sometimes.
Girl, I don't. Sometimes I really
Like-
don't.
You are that family member that's about to uplift your entire family. Like, you are that star pupil that you're gonna succeed, whether you believe it or not, because God has this blanket that like covers you, and He'll never leave you, man. I know I just got really religious,
deep.
but I just really need you to know that, because I love you, dog. And I'm really trying to interview her, but y'all, I don't think y'all realize I love this girl so much. She has literally inspired me. She inspired me to go to New York. You inspired my internship. Don't do that, because I'm going to cry. I'm not looking at you no more.
I inspired you to do that?
Yes, I kid you not.
That's crazy.
I kid you not. It's so crazy, because you have this drive. It's like, y'all, Lamaya is a firecracker. Like, she cannot stand still. Like, it's so amazing to see the growth. We've only known each other for about a year.
Yeah.
And
We're really close.
so close. I need to know, when did you realize, because you have such this firecracker personality and this big voice and this little body, when was the moment you realized that talking was your gift?
My mom would say at 11 months, when I said my first words, which was hi. And then she would say when I was 3, when I wouldn't stop asking questions. Then she'll say at 5, when my cousin would say, what's your name? I'm like, why you keep asking me my name? You know my name. At 5 years old, I was naturally, like, very outgoing. When I realized that I had a gift to talk to people, I was working at Denny's my sophomore year in college, and I was a social work major, I believe. Social work or psychology, one of those. Social work. I was a social work major. And I would tell my customers, like, yeah, I'm a social work major. Like, no, you can't be a social work major. That's not, like, you care about people, but you need to be on the camera. Like, you can talk to people. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that some other day. And I realized, you know, I kept giving excuses of why I didn't want to be on camera. I'm like, really, that's the devil. Like, I really need to be on camera. So I realized that's when I need to start talking on camera. But I really realized I have a gift to get people's stories out and really break them down and empower someone this year, when doing shallow stories wasn't enough for me. I needed to really dig into someone's life.
Yeah.
And I realized with the breakthrough, I was getting, and I only had like 4 episodes of the breakthrough, and people are like, yo, like, I really watched the breakthrough and I'm listening to you. I realized that was my gift to this year. Like, I need to be on camera, I need to talk, I need to get people's stories out, because it's bigger than me. I want to empower somebody, because I didn't really have that outlet for me to tell my story and to tell people who I really was, you know, I have to give that to someone else.
Yeah.
And so I believe that God has ordered my steps all through college to get me to where I am today.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go into mental health. Excuse me. You moved from Minnesota to Texas. You're at Prairie View now. You have nobody.
Yeah.
You're trying to discover this talent that you don't really know that much, but you're still trying to figure out how to cultivate it and unleash it. So where were you mentally? Where were you mentally? Because there's so many different outlets. You have, of course, weed. You got drugs. You got alcohol. You have all these different outlets that want to pull you in when you are at your very low or you're in a very uncomfortable situation.
Right.
So tell me about your mental health and to how it went from when you were first here to your mental health now.
My freshman year was really, really hard for me because my mom had lost her house. She was living in a shelter, her and my younger brother, his name's Shamar, he was like 14, 13. And they were living in a shelter, or they were living with my brother in his studio apartment, or they were living with my cousin Keita in her apartment with her kid, kid and a half, 2 kids, yes. And so I was here in Texas and I felt really, really useless. I felt like disconnected. My little brother would call me in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day crying because he was wearing slides to school in the wintertime when there's snow on the ground. He would wear sweatpants and like he was just so sad because he had nowhere to sleep. He had nowhere to go. He didn't want to be in a shelter. And so I really felt like I didn't help them. So I was drinking a lot. I always was a drinker rather than a smoker, but I was drinking really heavily. And I thought it was just me being in college, but I really had to grow up and realize, like, Lamaya, you're really trying to cover something that was going on, because I didn't tell anyone what was going on in my life. And then one of my closest friends, Barron, when I did go home in December, I got into an argument with one of my close friends, Barron, and I told him, like, I don't want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. It was something really stupid. And a week later, he died. He had a seizure in his sleep. And that was going on. And then my ex-boyfriend cheated on me at this time.
Wow.
So I was going through all this stuff from like Thanksgiving to like Christmas. I'm going through all this stuff. And like, my ex-boyfriend cheats on me. One of my close friends died. My ex-boyfriend isn't there for me to like help me.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through all this stuff. All I had was my 3 friends, Lachelle, Gross, Tia Torgano, and Gianna Pinkett, my best friends in the whole wide world. They came to the funeral with me and everything. They were there for me. And the time I wasn't living with my mom because they were living with my aunts here in the shelter. I was living with my dad. And me and my dad don't have a really consistent relationship. So it was kind of weird staying with him for that month and a half because I'm not used to staying with him for more than a weekend. So I was going through all of this emotional and mental just turmoil in my life. So I was really just drinking. Couldn't wait to get a shot. Couldn't wait to go to school and just drink. I had bottles of Ciroc under my bed. So I would just, and I'd still drink, you know, occasionally, but now I'm not trying to mask everything. So there's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol, but it's a matter of if you're drinking to have fun, you're drinking to really cover something up. Right. And I had to realize, yo, like, Lamar, you got to go through this. So I was really just praying and stuff like that. And I kind of just got over it over time and just being with my friends. I never talked about it. I always wrote about it. I have journals from like freshman year that I just wrote and wrote and wrote about everything. And then sophomore year came around and I was happier. My mom was more stable. I would have dreams about Barron, the friend that had died, and my dream was like he had gotten this bus at our elementary school, my elementary school. He was like, listen, I gotta go. I forgive you, but I gotta go. And after that, I was like, okay, God, like, I gotta let him go. So after that, I just kind of just over time, just let him go. Sophomore year came around. I got really more, at the end of sophomore year, I got some new friends, and they were really spiritual and religious, and I started getting like that more. I started talking to God more. Going into junior year, me and God was like this. Like, I knew God, and I knew that I needed him in my life. So I started doing that. Junior year came around and I was good. Like I was focused, I was determined. I was still going through like, school and stuff like that, but it wasn't as bad as my freshman year because I felt like I could pray about it. And I knew that God had me. And I knew one scripture, I forgot how to say, but don't go to sleep angry because it gives a foothold to the devil. So I always would say that when I'm angry, upset, or I feel like I'm in a low spot, I would never go to bed feeling like that because the devil was continuing to nag at me. And so I just prayed a lot. Senior year came around, which I'm in my double senior year, but whatever.
You gonna get your degree?
I know, honey. My outlet became being in organizations, helping other people, and talking. And I don't think I've ever felt so liberated until my senior year last year when I was doing my internship and I was actually becoming the woman that I was. And I started to realize what all my experiences kind of led me up to here because I helped so many women in my past because of what I've gone through. And I don't know, I'm in a good place now. Mentally I am, kinda. I'm still kind of worried because I don't know what's gonna happen next. And I'm so used to being in control of my life and of my steps. And I have to realize I'm never in control, this is God. And I really have to learn patience and learn what's going on because so many people are getting jobs outside of college and I'm yet to get that offer yet. But I got things planned, like I'm going to the BET Awards, I'm doing this and stuff like that, but I want something that's like, okay, you're getting a steady paycheck. And I really have to put myself in a position now to, Lamaya, you have to be patient. You have to realize what you've gone through in your past. Nothing has been given to me. The struggle was always a part of the hustle, and the hustle is sold separately.
Amen.
And you gotta pay for that hustle. You gotta grind, and you gotta put your nails to the pavement.
Yeah. Man, I know we have to get ready to wrap up.
Dang, I didn't took about the time.
I have one more question because we're going to look back at this in a couple of years and we're going to laugh. I just want you to know this is your last moment on this show that you created, the breakthrough, man. What is something you want to tell yourself in the next couple of years? When you go back and look at this, you're going to be like, wow.
The next couple of years.
I did that. Give yourself a word.
If I was to see my 30-year-old fly self in my bag, I would just tell myself thank you. That's it, because you have gone through so much stuff. Like, you go through so much and you endure so much and you got through it. And like, thank you for getting through it because it's about time that you realize the woman that you are and to keep pushing, because the 30-year-old you right now, honey, is nothing compared to the 35-year-old you, the 40-year-old you, and the milestones and the blessings that are coming to you. Like, you did it. Like, you got here, you got there, and it doesn't stop. Like, you got to keep pushing.
Wow.
And that's it.
Y'all, this is it.
Tony, why you do this?
This is it. This is it. This is.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta announce that Tony will be taking the throne, honey. She'll be taking the throne.
I'm actually about to get to that right now. It's an honor. I have some shoes to fill, but it is an absolute honor to take on this show that you created based off your situation in your heart. I'm so honored to take over the show Breakthrough. We do have to close out, guys. This is the last episode for the semester, but guess what? We're gonna come back next semester. We're gonna have big things popping, little things stopping.
Period.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna sign out. My name is Tony Hall with the amazing, most inspirational, hardworking student I know, Miss Lamaya Perlina. Thank you guys so much.